Yes, looks like we're live. We are live and alive, hopefully. Okay, I will start by chanting Jaya Radha Madhava. Sorry, I'm here alone today in the lecture. So I have to multitask, giving lecture to the Panchatattva and a couple of guests who came. We have lecture online right now, so yeah. Yes. Okay, we're online. We can start. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jayo Gopi Jana. You know the song? Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Good song. Yes, good song. Thumbs up for the song. But our song is not over. I'm doing unusual thing. I'm switching from Mridanga to harmonium and we continue kirtan. Again, yes. We're gonna sing Hare Krishna now. So I will sing and then you respond, yeah?
No, it's okay. We do that in the night.
Yeah.
We can do it anytime. Every even daytime. Oh, he does. Oh, okay, nice. Very nice.
We do it.
Very good, very good. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya. Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jai Gaura Premanande. Jai. Hare Krishna. So, this is our Sunday program. These days, it used to be packed, but as you can see,
We are coming from Cork.
from Cork. Wow, wonderful.
It's been a very long drive.
Long time, yeah, long journey, many hours.
Because we were from Landmire.
Okay,
Stop.
he's very eager
Yes,
to.
we have heard the stories of Krishna.
Good, very talkative. Mm. Yes, so, but anyway, Sunday program must go on,
Yeah.
even no matter what's happening. So we do it online mainly these days. But whoever happens to come is most welcome to join.
We
Yeah.
are supposed to be here for Cork, from Cork to the Krishna temple today,
Okay,
and it happened to be the Sunday.
it's great that you came. I'm happy to have you. Otherwise, I would give lecture to the camera,
Yeah.
Panchatattva, and four walls here. So it's better
Now,
to.
now you are taking online classes, so about millions and billions right now are taking online classes.
Yes,
You are-
yes. Okay. First of all, I hope everyone had wonderful week ahead of you. There we had a Janmashtami celebration and Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, Prabhupada's appearance day celebration. But I'm sure it was very wonderful and sweet experience for all of you. We're going to discuss a little bit the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 I chose one verse from pretty much the end of the Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, which is called Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. And it's text 58, which is not maybe one of the most popular verses, most well known, but still it has a deep meaning. Sanskrit goes as follows. So it is chapter 18, text 58. Machchita sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyasi athachet tvam ahankara nasrashyasi vinakshasi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Krishna says, speaking to Arjuna, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. And then Srila Prabhupada gives relatively short purport. Let's read. Purport. A person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. The foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort, and he gives himself to his friend, who is so devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego of the bodily concept of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. He is already under strict material laws, but as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated, free from the material perplexities. One should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. So, one should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. Wow, very graphic, material whirlpool. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done. But a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. Very nicely Prabhupada says, everything is prompted by Krishna within. Om Akyanati Mirandasya Kyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurin Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manoho Pishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Padamahyam Tatati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Haribo. It is quite a strong statement that Krishna is making here to his friend Arjuna, that if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Wow. It's what Krishna wants to make clear here for us. What is he saying? For a person maybe who is reading Bhagavad Gita for the first time, this may seem like, hey, wait a minute, Krishna is blackmailing Arjuna. Blackmailing. If you don't do what I say, something bad will happen to you. This is like, the old days, that's how the mafia used to work, right? They go to some shop owner, and tell them, we are here to protect you. Yes. If you don't give us monthly so much, this and this amount for protection, anything can happen, Does Krishna really do the same here? I'm just wondering. No, of course not. Because it is explained in Bhagavad Gita 5th chapter, verse 29, that Krishna is the best friend of everyone. The famous peace formula is given where it is said that Krishna says, whoever understands that I'm the supreme lord of everything, and a benefactor and a well-wisher of every living entity, gets peace from the pangs of material miseries. So no mafia boss is a well-wisher, but Krishna, he's actually well-wisher, and then he wants to reinstate us in our original position as his loving servants. And so, but that doesn't leave us with much options. So we either turn to Krishna and offer our affection and love to Krishna, or we turn our face away, bahirmukha. Bahirmukha means turn the face away from Krishna and try to be Krishna. Try to enjoy this world and try to be the controller of the world. And this is exactly what Krishna is describing here. He doesn't recommend to do that because you will be lost. Because it's not our natural position. It's not what we are created to do. We are created to be Krishna conscious and exchange loving relationship with Krishna. This is what every living entity is meant to do. And, so it is really for our best interest. But one topic is really very fascinating for me, and also maybe perhaps very relevant in our present day, present society, present world situation, is the topic of preparedness. There's a lot of people, especially these days, talking about preparing for calamities, preparing for possible disasters, and the preppers. There's a lot of channels, city prepper, sensible prepper, this prepper, that prepper. So prepper, in short, means one who prepares. So how does it relate to Krishna consciousness? To be a prepper. We also should be preppers. And what we should prepare for, ultimately, life is filled with different exams, different tests. Like in university, you go to school, you have many tests, and then how you pass this test, you prepare for them, you study. So similarly, life is full of tests and exams, which all lead up to the final exam, which is death. Yes, mrityu, leaving this body behind. So this is a final exam. Although yes, Western modern society trying to ignore the topic, cover their ears, cover their eyes. No, they don't like to discuss this topic very much, if you noticed. But this is not how Vedic high-class culture is looking at this topic. They are very open about it and very straightforward. That death is the most crucial moment of this life, in the sense that it will decide what is our next destination, because this is not our only life. So death is so important, and the whole life is meant especially for preparing for that moment. Everything we do, everything we even think or say is meant to help us in our mission of life, of preparing for that final exam. And so those of us who cultivate Krishna consciousness, how shall we prepare? Yeah, we know the most important is to prepare for death. What means to be prepared for death? Do you know? Submission, like surrender to Krishna. Yes, definitely.
Submission, acceptance.
Yes, good. Krishna says in Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran pavam bhajantyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kauntaya sadatat bhavatat bhavita. Whatever one remembers at the moment of death, that he will attain without fail. Of this there is no doubt. So whatever we remember at the moment of death, that determines our next destination. So basically,
This was which chapter? Which
that was 7.5?
Chapter 7 was
Let me just quickly confirm. Sorry, no, 8.6. Yam yam, yes, Bhagavad Gita 8.6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhava. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, at that state he will attain without fail. So, and previous verse, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samat bhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So this is
what scientists wants to prove.
scientists,
Wants to prove the next life they are trying to prove.
they're trying to prove.
And it's a proof.
That's funny. Most of, some of them trying to negate, absolutely refuse to accept that idea. But anyway, so we accept Bhagavad Gita as a truth, as authoritative source of knowledge, not necessarily any scientist. But yes, the most important thing is ante Narayana smriti, to remember Narayana at the moment of death. If we remember Narayana, Lord Krishna, we pass the exam successfully. So this is the goal of life. And so we're meant to prepare. It's not that it happens automatically. You have to put in serious work and effort. And not just once a week or once a month. Actually, in order to be prepared for this moment, one has to work on it every day. So yes, preparedness. But before the final exam comes to us, there's so many minor exams throughout the life. In our daily life, there's so many exams, situations which also requires to be prepared, right? So many people these days they stock up food, right? Because you can't rely on this very unstable economic situation, and supermarket food chain may be blocked at any time. Who says it cannot? Yeah, it's the reality. If you look at the history, there has been famines, there has been starvation. It's a reality. It's not some hypothetical idea. It can happen. So, in one sense we should prepare. But the question is, how much a devotee of Krishna should prepare? So, in one sense, Draupadi, the pastime from Mahabharata, Draupadi, right, is being disrobed by Dushasana, and she holds her sari, and then at one point she lets go, and then fully surrenders to Krishna, giving up her own effort to try to save herself. So, and fully dependent on Krishna. And then Krishna took over and provided this cloth. So this was one example. There are so many other examples from Shastra where great devotees, pure devotees of the Lord, how they exhibited absolute full dependence on the mercy of the Krishna and protection of Krishna. Let's remember Ambarish Maharaj. Have you heard about Ambarish Maharaj? No? It's from Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Durvasa Muni is a great sage. Yeah? Yes, Durvasa Muni is a famous character. So Durvasa Muni, he became very angry with Ambarish Maharaj, who was absolutely surrendered devotee of Krishna. He became angry and he created one big demon who, with the intention to go and kill this Ambarish Maharaj, who just accepted a little bit water to break his fast. He was fasting on Ekadashi. So, but Durvasa Muni was angry because, according to the etiquette, if somebody receives the guests, they should not eat or drink before they feed the guest. But because he was breaking his fast by drinking only water, so he in one sense didn't eat, so he followed the etiquette. But anyway, Durvasa Muni became angry, and then he also had to break fast not for his own sake, but for the benefit of the people of his country, because he was a ruler, he was a king. He knew that by completing properly the Ekadashi Vrata, all the people will be blessed, will get benefit. So for their sake, so he broke fast, and then Durvasa Muni became angry and cursed him, and this demon came to attack and kill Ambarish Maharaj. But what was his reaction? Ambarish Maharaj, as pure devotee of Krishna, fully dependent, didn't try to fight back the demon or run away, or he was just absolutely fearless, one thing, and fully dependent on the will of Krishna. Krishna, whatever you want, it will happen. If you want me to be killed by this demon, I accept it as your will. If you want me to remain alive, up to you. So this was the attitude. These are the highest level devotees. That's how they act in a situation of absolute disaster, in a situation where natural tendency is to try to do something, right? Try to seek shelter from your own efforts to save yourself, or grab some weapon and attack, or do something, whatever it takes usually. But these devotees, they showed absolute dependence. There's another great devotee from Srimad Bhagavatam. His name is Chatparat. Chatparat, he was also very pure devotee, and then when the dacoits captured Chatparat to offer him to Kaj's Kali as a human sacrifice, he wanted to cut off his head, chop off his head and sacrifice to Kali. Then Chatparat, he knew what's happening, but he was similarly absolutely dependent on Krishna, and he didn't retaliate, didn't try to save his life in this situation. He was absolutely Krishna. Everything depends on you. And then as a result, the Kaj's Kali, the deity of Kali, became alive. And what happened, because Kali is a pure devotee of Krishna, Kali Ma became so angry at these dacoits who claimed to be her devotees, trying to sacrifice for her pleasure. And then she actually, chopped off the heads of all these dacoits and saved the devotee of Krishna. This is a famous story, famous pastime, yes. So another example, how pure devotee fully depends on Krishna. Now question, are we meant to do the same? Let's say you're a family head, you have a son and maybe wife, and then you as a family man and a head of family, it is your duty to provide protection to your subordinates. Just example. So it means that, one sense, you have to prepare for disaster situations, that your family may meet some condition where there's no food or water or some other basic necessities of life. So it is it is your duty, yes, to make sure that you can provide those for the time of need. So it is important to understand, to get the balance right. Yes, in which situations we are meant to fully depend on Krishna, and in which situations we are meant to do all our efforts in order to save the situation.
Submission, and there is karma.
Right. Karma. Oh, yeah, definitely.
You have to do your karma.
Karma and your dharma.
Yes, and
Right.
karma is driven by dharma.
Yes. Right. Yes. Karma means your work.
Take your leave.
Oh, you have to leave. Oh no. Okay.
Leave with that.
Okay. Good. I
It was
appreciate.
very nice to meet you.
Appreciate your coming.
I'm running a small page called Hinduism in Ireland. So we keep sharing your lectures there.
Okay. Please.
That is really really good to have few people here in the distance.
Yes. Yes. Please come more often.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
But
Hare Krishna. And please keep chanting Hare Krishna.
Sure, sure.
Yes. I'm back with you. Our only couple of guests have left Sunday program. Now just Panchatattva and me and you on the other side of screen. But anyway, let us continue with our discussion on the topic of being a prepper in Krishna consciousness. Yes. So, where were we? Yes, we need to get the balance right. What means to at the same time be prepared, and at the same time be prepared to depend on Krishna. This is really tricky. Yeah, in the situation where let's say you are a family head, you're a father, and you're supposed to protect your wife and children. It is a fallacy to think that, oh, no worries, Krishna will take care. I would just chant Hare Krishna and Krishna will take care of everything. Well, it is the attitude of pure devotees like Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur. Who said to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who asked when he was asked by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you are as a householder, I never see you working. You only just serve the Lord, sing the holy names of the Lord, and what happened? And I never see you working. So how do you maintain your family? And Srivas Thakur replied by clapping his hands 3 times. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he expressed his bewilderment that he doesn't understand what he means. And then he asked again, he just clapped his hands, and then finally Lord Chaitanya asked, could you please explain what these 3 claps mean? And then Srivas Thakur explained that if Lord Krishna doesn't provide for my family 1 time, 2nd time, and 3rd time, I will drown myself in Ganga. So, are we meant to do the same? So, my understanding is there should be a balance in doing our best and then depending on Krishna. Doing our best. Let's say in Srimad Bhagavatam, the section that we are currently reading is a 1st canto, chapter 8. And there's a section where, if you remember those who were listening these lectures, the section where Ashwatthama is being captured by Arjuna. Ashwatthama in desperate situation trying to save himself. It's throwing Brahmastra weapon. And as a result, Arjuna, he takes full shelter of Krishna. He started to recite prayers to Krishna for his protection. And also later on, when Lord Krishna starts to leave the city of Hastinapur to go to Dwaraka, back to his kingdom, Mother Uttara is approaching Lord Krishna desperately with the same request: please, my Lord, you are the master of all cosmic manifestation. You are the shelter of everyone, especially your pure devotees, and so please save my embryo. Okay, if I have to be killed by this Brahmastra weapon, let it be so, but at least I beg you to please save my embryo, the child in my womb. And Lord Krishna, of course, immediately extended his energies and saved Uttara, and then also Maharaj Parikshit in the womb, the only descendant of Kuru dynasty. And it's interesting that in that situation, when Pandavas saw again that the second Brahmastra is approaching them, thrown by Ashwatthama, they all at first they grabbed their weapons, which is natural for Kshatriya, natural reaction, grab their weapons. But at the same time, their mood wasn't that, oh, okay, we are the doers here. We're gonna sort this out. We're gonna protect ourselves. Even though they grabbed their weapons, but they still felt fully dependent on Krishna. Well, as I understand, this is the proper balance here. We do our best, but with the mood of depending on Krishna, understanding that ultimately, Lord, whatever you desire will happen. And so that would be that would mean to be a Krishna conscious prepper. Yet this concept of let's say the self-defense, it's very interesting. The self-defense, the whole principle behind it is I'm defending myself, right? It's very popular in these days. Martial arts, people are interested taking martial art lessons, and especially self-defense lessons. And again, how does it relate to our Vaishnava principles? If we analyze the behavior of these pure devotees like Ambarish Maharaj, Chatparata, and I'm sure many others, they were not into self-defense. Prahlad Maharaj as well, his father Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him in so many ways. He delegated his servants to boil him in oil, throw him from the cliff, throw him under the feet of elephants, and tried to pierce him by weapons, and nothing worked. But interesting to note here, Prahlad Maharaj, as fully dependent devotee of the Lord, never actively tried to save himself in the situation. So where is the question of self-defense for pure devotees? Therefore, this another point here. Yes, interesting to note that if we look at the laws, let's say the state laws in countries like Ireland, when it comes to self-defense, let's say somebody attacks you, even if you're in your own house, somebody attacks you, breaks in and attacks you, and if you, let's say you protect yourself by grabbing any object and let's say beat up the rogue or thief who broke into your house, and then after, when let's say, in a situation where there's a court case and you have to defend yourself. Why did you injure that person who came to attack you? According to the law, most amazing, it sounds amazing, if you explain that I had, let's say, this baseball badge next to my bed for the purpose of self-defense and protection, if this is how you explain your situation, you are liable for punishment. By the law, you are not allowed to defend yourself. Quite amazing. But at the same time, if you, those who are lawyers out there, if you say in the same situation that, okay, there was this thief broke into my house, and all of a sudden in the middle of night, my life was threatened. He tried to stab me, and I just grabbed whatever object I had the closest to me. It just happened to be a baseball bat, and just to protect my own life, I had to beat him up. And in this way, in this scenario, if you explain it in this way, you are legally justified your action. So basically, but the point is, even by the law, the idea, the principle of self-defense is banned. You're not allowed to defend yourself. But and this is actually according to Vaishnava philosophy, because pure devotees never defend themselves. They leave it up to Krishna. It's interesting pastime when our acharyas, Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami, were forced to work as government ministers for Nawab Hussain Shah in Bengal. It's not that they were enthusiastic and eager to take these high, respectable government posts. Hare Krishna. What happened actually, if you know a little bit of history, we have our Sunday class, but you're welcome to take darshan and listen if you like. So quite amazing history. How they ended up being the prime minister and then minister of finance, as far as I remember, of Nawab Hussain Shah, the Muslim ruler. I'm not going to go into detail how exactly it happened, but Nawab Hussain Shah got to know about the amazing character and abilities of Sanatana Goswami first. And then as they say, he made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Nawab Hussain Shah basically blackmailed Sanatana Goswami that if you don't obey my order or my request that you become one of my ministers, then I will execute the Vaishnava community. I will start harassing the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. So in order to save Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, Rupa and Sanatana were forced to accept this government post for this Mughal ruler. And as a result, they suffered the defamation, the losing of their caste, so-called caste of Brahmanas. But throughout all this harassment or this difficult situation, they remained surrendered devotees of the Lord. They had great eagerness to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, associate with Vaishnavas, associate with Brahmanas, hear Krishna Gatha. And until, as you know, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they managed to escape their government posts and joined Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his servants for full time. So yes, again, the idea of self-defense on material platform appears to be condemned. Self-defense for one's own sake, relying on one's own powers, is not exactly in line with Krishna consciousness. But at the same time, in situations where, let's say, other devotees or our dependents' lives are depending on us basically. So we have to use our intelligence to make the right decisions in order to protect them. And in this situation, yeah, it is our duty to be prepared. Of course, there's this famous little analogy or story that when man is drowning in an ocean, he's about to die, and then a ship comes by and throws him the ring to save the life, pull them out, and then the man thinks that no, I fully depend on God. I cannot accept this help. And then the helicopter comes, throws the rope, and man again, no, I depend on God. And when he dies, then he finally in next life meets the God face to face and asks, so what? I was drowning and you didn't save me. Why you didn't save me? And then God says, well, I sent you the boat, I sent you the helicopter, but you didn't accept it. You didn't accept my help. What can I do? So in this light, we should use our intelligence, God-given intelligence, in order to prepare for difficult situations, so that we can carry on in our Krishna conscious practices. And also, in one purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, I don't have it exactly, I don't have a reference to give you at the moment, but I can find it. So recently read it. Srila Prabhupada mentions, in dangerous situations, it is our duty to try to save ourselves, to not put ourselves recklessly in a dangerous situation, where our life or our health can be hampered. So these are these two sides. Fully depending on one's own effort, trying to do everything possible to prepare, and from the other side, full dependence on Krishna, not doing any effort to prepare. Of course, Srila Prabhupada, when he was in Calcutta during the Second World War, and there was a air raid, the airplanes were bombing Calcutta, and the siren went off just when Srila Prabhupada was about to start taking his prasadam. And all the other family members, they were calling, Abai, come, let's run into the bomb shelter. And Srila Prabhupada, he was totally cool. He explained that yes, the bombs were dropping, but I didn't want to interrupt my accepting of Krishna's prasadam. And he explains how he saw the bombs as one aspect of Krishna, as the aspect of Krishna's universal form, which is of course bringing devastation and death, and it is a aspect of Krishna's energy which is not very lovable, opposed to the beautiful form of Lord Shyamasundar. But he also saw Krishna in the form of these bombs dropping from the sky. So yes, so we have to be honest with ourselves and know on which level of transcendental realization we are at, and then act accordingly. So it is recommended to not imitate the great souls, but to follow in the footsteps. Do you really have, we have to ask maybe in a situation like this, that do you really have faith, so much faith, such a strong faith in Krishna that it doesn't bother you when you get killed by some bomb or grenade and you don't make effort to save yourself? Or it's better to do your effort and depend on Krishna. So anyway, this is a interesting topic. I thought maybe something relevant. But ultimately in the verse that I just read previously, Lord Krishna is saying that be conscious of me, become conscious of me, and you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life. The ultimate solution of, or ultimate prepping is to be conscious of Krishna. Because ultimately we have to leave this body at one point, and there is no material solution to prevent this leaving of the body. In other words, to prevent death from happening. There is no material shelter anywhere except from Krishna. So the ultimate preparing is what we are supposed to do daily. Try to very, very attentively chant the holy names in a mood of taking shelter of Krishna. It is recommended for transcendentalists to always think that this is my last day. And then for materialists, it is recommended to think that I will never die. So as transcendentalists, we want to cultivate that sense of urgency in taking shelter of Krishna, that when the inevitable happens and then really calamity hits, when the cow dung hits the fan, as they say, that then your consciousness is prepared. You're so well trained to immediately think of Krishna and call out to Krishna that it becomes your welcome, that it becomes your second nature. This is exactly what we want to achieve. That depending on Krishna becomes our default setting. And that takes conscious effort throughout one's life, day in and day out. And we as devotees are meant to encourage each other in taking shelter of Krishna. Yes. I hope you can relate to this topic, and I hope you found something interesting what we spoke. Maybe it triggered some realization, some thought within you. Anyway, there's so much more that could be said, but this is what I have today. Hare Krishna. Yesterday when Banu Prabhu told me, oh, by the way, can you give Sunday class? I told him, okay, but it's going to be very spontaneous because we had a very busy day yesterday. It was wonderful Harinam on O'Connell Street for 2 hours. We were all so enlivened, enthusiastically singing the holy names, and then it was amazing to observe how people who were passing by, they were they were uncontrollably attracted to Harinam. Many of them stopped. They were walking and they were forced to stop, and they were watching it, looking at it, because they felt some special energy. Something was very attractive to them. Because Krishna was present. Krishna in a form of holy name will manifest whenever devotees are chanting, when they're chanting with a service attitude, with a mood to please Krishna and his devotees, previous acharyas, then Krishna's magic will happen. The magic of spiritual mercy. And then to witness this is the most satisfying thing in this world. To witness Lord's mercy acting on conditioned souls. Therefore, we are very fortunate that after this lockdown we are able to do some Harinam again, some frontline preaching, because people are really needing this more than ever. And many are appreciating. Thank you very much. I end up here, and if you have some questions or comments, you're welcome to put them into the comment section. I wish everyone very beautiful Krishna conscious future, and many preaching opportunities, because at these times will give us chance to preach to people who previously were not able to listen, because many people are losing their jobs, for example, and then so they lose their material shelter, and they're looking for solutions, and we have the solution. So, that sense, these are exciting times. We're very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, to Panchatattva, to be engaged in this Sankirtan movement. It's a priceless opportunity. Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai